They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I prefer mine scalding hot with a side of public humiliation. My name is Evan Lorne, and 6 months ago I thought I had it all figured out. Perfect condo in downtown Toronto, perfect wife, perfect life. Turns out the only thing perfect about it was how perfectly screwed I was about to get. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Let me paint you a picture of domestic bliss, circa January 2023. Picture this. I'm sitting in my overpriced kitchen, drinking $7 oat milk that tastes like disappointment, watching my wife Kendra arrange herself for the 15th Instagram story of the morning. She's got this routine down to a science. Angle the phone just right, catch the morning light streaming through our floor-to-ceiling windows, make sure every surface looks like it belongs in a magazine. "Babe, can you move?" she says without looking at me. "You're ruining the aesthetic." I'm ruining the aesthetic. I'm her husband of 3 years, sitting at my own kitchen table, eating cereal that costs more than most people's lunch, and I'm ruining the aesthetic. "Sorry," I mutter, grabbing my bowl and relocating to the living room. Baxter, our rescue mutt, follows me with those sympathetic brown eyes that say, "I feel you, man." From the kitchen, I hear the familiar sound of Kendra's phone camera clicking away. She's documenting her morning routine for her 43,000 followers, who apparently find her brand of manufactured perfection fascinating. Every shot is carefully curated to show off our condo, her outfits, her skincare routine, her breakfast that she'll take 3 bites of before throwing away. What her followers don't see is me. They never see me. I used to think it was just coincidence. Maybe I wasn't photogenic enough for her brand. Maybe couples content wasn't her thing. But then I started noticing the patterns, the way she'd crop me out of photos, the way she'd wait for me to leave the room before filming, the way she'd actually Photoshop me out of pictures where I accidentally appeared. I'm a financial planner, which means I notice patterns. It's literally my job to spot irregularities and figure out what they mean. So when my wife of 3 years suddenly starts treating me like a ghost in my own home, I pay attention. "I've got a brand meeting today," Kendra announces, finally joining me in the living room. She's wearing one of those athleisure outfits that costs more than my car payment, all perfectly coordinated in shades of beige and cream that photograph well under ring lights. "With who?" I ask, though I already know she won't give me a straight answer. "Just some potential collaborators. Nothing major." She's scrolling through her phone, probably checking her engagement metrics. Everything with Kendra comes back to numbers, likes, follows, comments, brand deals. What kind of collaborators? Fitness stuff, wellness. You know, the usual. The usual. Right. Because my wife, who considers walking to Starbucks cardio, is suddenly interested in fitness collaborations. I watch her gather her things, ring light, phone tripod, makeup bag that's bigger than my laptop case, and about 6 different water bottles because hydration is apparently very on brand right now. She kisses me goodbye, a quick peck that feels more like a social obligation than affection. "Don't wait up," she says. "These things can run late." And then she's gone, leaving behind only the faint scent of her expensive perfume and the lingering feeling that I'm missing something important. I finish my cereal in silence, Baxter curled up next to me on the couch. The condo feels different when Kendra's not here. Less like a showroom, more like a home. I can put my feet up without worrying about disturbing a carefully arranged throw pillow. I can watch something other than whatever Netflix show is trending on social media. My phone buzzes. Text from my buddy Jared. "Dude, your wife's at the Lush Lounge with some campaign crew. Looks fancy." Jared works security at one of those trendy downtown lounges where influencers go to be seen. He's been my best friend since college, back when we were both broke and honest about it. Now I'm just broke in an expensive way. I text back, "Yeah, she mentioned a brand meeting." This the fitness thing she's been talking about? Wait, how does Jared know about the fitness thing? I never mentioned it to him, and Kendra certainly doesn't discuss her business with my friends. She barely acknowledges their existence. How do you know about that? I type. 3 dots appear, then disappear. Then appear again. Bro, maybe we should talk. My stomach drops. That's never good. In the universal language of male friendship, maybe we should talk ranks somewhere between we need to discuss your drinking and I slept with your sister on the scale of conversations you never want to have. What's going on? Not over text. Can you come by the lounge around 6? I get off then. I stare at my phone for a long moment. Part of me wants to ignore it, pretend everything is fine, go back to my overpriced oat milk and my perfectly curated life. But that pattern recognition part of my brain is screaming that something's wrong. I'll be there. I text back. The rest of the day drags by. I try to focus on work, running numbers for clients who want to retire early and live their dreams. The irony isn't lost on me. I spend my days helping other people plan their perfect futures, while my own present is apparently falling apart. At 5:45, I'm standing outside the lush lounge, watching Toronto's young and beautiful filter in and out. This isn't my scene. I'm more of a dive bar guy, somewhere with decent beer and no dress code. But Kendra loves places like this. All exposed brick and Edison bulbs, craft cocktails with names like Smoke and Mirrors and Beautiful Disaster. Jared appears at the door right at 6, still in his security uniform. He's built like a linebacker and has the kind of face that makes drunk people think twice about starting trouble. But right now, he looks uncomfortable. Let's walk, he says without preamble. We head down King Street, weaving between the after-work crowd. Jared's quiet for the first block, which is unusual. He's normally the kind of guy who fills silence with jokes or commentary about whatever's happening around us. So, I finally say, what's this about? He stops walking and turns to face me. Your wife's been coming to the lounge a lot lately, like 3 times a week for the past month. Okay, she's an influencer. She goes to trendy places. That's kind of her job. With the same guy every time. My mouth goes dry. What guy? Tall, blonde, looks like he stepped out of a fitness magazine. They always sit at the same table, always order the same drinks. And Evan... He pauses, running a hand through his hair. They don't act like business partners. The world tilts slightly. I lean against a nearby building, trying to process what he's telling me. What do you mean? I mean, they hold hands. I mean, she sits on his side of the booth. I mean, last week I saw them making out by the bathroom. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. All those late brand meetings. All those new collaborators she won't tell me about. All those times she's come home smelling like cologne that isn't mine. Are you sure? Jared pulls out his phone and shows me a photo. It's grainy, taken from across the lounge, but it's definitely Kendra. She's sitting close to a guy who looks like he was carved from marble and blessed by the Instagram gods. Her hand is on his chest, his arm around her waist. They're looking at each other like they're the only 2 people in the room. I'm sorry, man. I've been debating whether to tell you for weeks. I stare at the photo until my eyes blur. 3 years of marriage. 3 years of building a life together, of shared dreams and joint bank accounts and adopting a dog together. 3 years of me thinking we were happy. What's his name? I ask. Troy something. Troy Maddox, I think. He's some kind of fitness model. Has his own supplement line or whatever. Troy Maddox. I pull out my phone and Google him. His Instagram pops up immediately. 180,000 followers. Professional photos of him working out shirtless, promoting protein powders and workout plans. His bio says he's a wellness entrepreneur and brand ambassador. I scroll through his recent posts and my blood runs cold. There, in a photo from 2 weeks ago, is a woman's hand holding a green smoothie. The hand is wearing a ring I recognize, a vintage emerald ring that belonged to my grandmother, the one I gave Kendra for our second anniversary. She's in his photos, carefully cropped out, just a hand or a shadow or a reflection. But she's there. While she's been erasing me from her online presence, she's been inserting herself into his. Evan, you okay? I look up at Jared, who's watching me with concern. Yeah, I need to think. What are you going to do? Good question. What do you do when you discover your wife is living a double life? Do you confront her? Do you hire a lawyer? Do you pack your bags and disappear? Or do you do what I do best? Analyze the situation, gather data, and plan your next move carefully. I'm going to figure out exactly what's going on, I tell Jared, and then I'm going to decide what to do about it. As I walk home through the Toronto evening, my mind is already working. Kendra wants to play games? Fine. But she's about to learn that I didn't build a career in financial planning without learning how to be very, very thorough. The wolf is awake now. And it's hungry. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I lie in bed next to my cheating wife, listening to her breathe and plan. She comes home at 11:30 smelling like expensive cologne and lies. She kisses my forehead and whispers, "Sorry, ran late," before slipping into the bathroom for her elaborate skincare routine. I pretend to be asleep. While she's in the bathroom, I grab her phone from the nightstand. She's always been careless with her passcode. It's her birthday, because of course it is. The phone unlocks, and I'm immediately hit with a wall of notifications. Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and about 15 text messages from someone named T with a fire emoji. I screenshot everything I can before she comes back, my heart pounding so loud I'm sure she can hear it from the bathroom. The messages are damning. T, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Wear the black dress. T, that shoot was incredible. You're incredible. T, when are you going to tell him? When are you going to tell him? So they're planning to make this official. How thoughtful of them to consider my feelings. Kendra emerges from the bathroom in her silk pajamas, the ones I bought her for Christmas. She slides into bed and immediately turns away from me, claiming she needs her beauty sleep. I stare at the ceiling until dawn, my mind racing with possibilities. The next morning, I start my investigation in earnest. While Kendra's in the shower, I go through our shared laptop. She's logged into everything: Instagram, email, even her banking app. It's like she wants to get caught. Her Instagram DMs tell the whole story. Months of flirtation with Troy, starting as professional collaboration and quickly turning personal. Photos she's never posted, videos of them together, conversations about their future. She's been living an entire relationship online while treating our marriage like an inconvenient roommate situation. But the banking information is what really gets my attention. She's been spending money we don't have. Designer clothes, expensive dinners, a weekend trip to Montreal that she told me was a solo retreat. All funded by our joint credit card, the one I pay off every month like a responsible adult. I print everything: bank statements, screenshots, email receipts. By the time Kendra emerges from the bathroom, I have a manila folder full of evidence that would make a divorce lawyer weep with joy. "Morning, babe," she says, already reaching for her phone. "I've got another brand meeting today." "With Troy?" I ask casually, not looking up from my coffee. She freezes. For just a second, her perfect influencer mask slips, and I see genuine panic in her eyes. "Who?" "Troy Maddox, fitness model, supplement line, about 6'2" with the personality of a protein shake." The silence stretches between us like a tightrope. Kendra's phone is clutched in her hand, and I can see her mind racing, trying to figure out how much I know. "I don't know what you're talking about," she finally says. "Really?" "Because I'm pretty sure he's the collaborator you've been meeting with, the one you hold hands with at the Lush Lounge." Her face goes white, then red, then white again. "Have you been following me?" "I don't need to follow you, Kendra. You document everything online. You're just not as careful as you think you are." She sits down heavily at the kitchen table, her phone forgotten. For a moment, I think she might actually tell the truth. Confess everything, apologize, maybe we can work through this like adults. Instead, she goes on the attack. You've been spying on me, going through my phone, my accounts. That's crazy behavior, Evan. Crazy behavior is having an affair and funding it with our joint credit card. It's not an affair. It's complicated. Complicated how? You're either sleeping with him or you're not. She stands up abruptly, grabbing her purse and phone. I don't have to listen to this. You're being paranoid and controlling. Where are you going? Out. I need space to think. To think about what? How to explain this to your 43,000 followers. She stops at the door, her hand on the handle. Don't you dare threaten me. I'm not threatening you. I'm just wondering how your brand handles this kind of scandal. Married influencer caught cheating with fitness model. Seems like the kind of thing that might hurt your engagement rates. The look she gives me could freeze hell. You wouldn't. Try me. After she leaves, I sit in the silence of our condo and finish my coffee. Baxter comes over and puts his head in my lap, sensing something's wrong. I scratch behind his ears and make a mental note to make sure I get custody of the dog and whatever comes next. My phone buzzes. Text from Jared. Everything okay? Saw Kendra storm past the lounge looking like she wanted to murder someone. Confronted her. It went about as well as you'd expect. What's the plan? Good question. I could file for divorce, split everything 50-50, move on with my life. That's what a rational person would do. But I'm not feeling particularly rational right now. I'm feeling like someone who's been played for a fool for months while funding his wife's affair with his own money. I'm feeling like someone who wants revenge. I spend the day researching Troy Maddox, social media, business registrations, brand partnerships, everything I can find. He's not just a fitness model, he's building a small empire. Supplement line, workout app, brand ambassadorships with major athletic companies. And according to his contracts, which I find through some creative LinkedIn stalking, he has a morality clause. Interesting. I also research Kendra's brand partnerships. She's got deals with 3 major companies, all of which have similar morality clauses and requirements about disclosure. If she's been using their products in content with Troy without disclosing their relationship, that's a breach of contract. Very interesting. By evening, I have a plan, not just for divorce, not just for getting my money back, but for something much more satisfying. If Kendra wants to play games with people's lives, she's about to learn that some people are better at games than others. She doesn't come home that night. She texts around 10 p.m., staying at Maddie's, need space to process. Maddie is her best friend, an enabler who encourages all of Kendra's worst impulses. I'm sure they're having a grand time talking about what a terrible, controlling husband I am. I text back, take all the space you need. What I don't tell her is that I've already started making some calls. To her brand partners, to Troy's agency, to a few gossip bloggers who specialize in influencer drama. The wolf isn't just awake now, it's hunting. The next morning, I implement phase 1 of what I've started calling Operation Reality Check. While Kendra is presumably still at Maddie's, complaining about her terrible husband, I'm at my bank, having a very productive conversation with my account manager. I need to remove someone from my joint accounts, I tell Rebecca, the patient woman who's been handling my banking for 5 years. Are you getting divorced, Mr. Lorne? Working on it. In the meantime, I need to protect my assets. It's surprisingly easy. Since I opened the accounts and I'm the primary income source, I can remove Kendra's access with a few signatures. Credit cards, savings, checking, everything except the mortgage, which will require lawyers. By noon, Kendra Lorne is effectively broke. I feel a little guilty about it, but then I remember the $3,000 she spent on her solo retreat to Montreal with Troy, and the guilt evaporates. Phase 2 involves a visit to Kendra's biggest brand partner, a skincare company called Pure Radiance. I've done my homework. I know they're particular about their brand ambassadors maintaining authentic, honest relationships with their followers. The marketing director, a sharp woman named Sarah Chen, agrees to meet with me at a coffee shop downtown. I bring my folder of evidence. Mr. Lorne, I have to ask, why are you bringing this to us instead of handling it privately? Because my wife has been violating your brand guidelines, and I thought you should know before it becomes a bigger problem. I show her the screenshots. Kendra's Instagram posts featuring Pure Radiance products, all tagged as our ad and our sponsored. But what the posts don't show is that she's been using the products in content with Troy, essentially giving him unpaid endorsements. And she's never disclosed their relationship, which is required by both FTC guidelines and her contract. Sarah's expression grows colder as she flips through the evidence. This is concerning. It gets worse. I show her the bank statements. She's been using your product payments to fund personal trips and gifts for her boyfriend. I'm not sure that aligns with your brand values. By the end of our meeting, Sarah is taking notes and promising to review the situation immediately. Phase 3 happens that afternoon. I'm sitting in my condo when my phone rings. It's Kendra, and she sounds panicked. Evan, what did you do? About what? My card was declined. At Sephora, in front of everyone. I can picture the scene. Kendra at the makeup counter, trying to buy $200 worth of products for her content creation. Her card getting rejected in front of other customers and store employees. For someone whose entire identity is built on projecting success and luxury, it's basically a nightmare scenario. That's weird, I say, not bothering to hide the satisfaction in my voice. Maybe you should call the bank. I did call the bank. They said you removed me from the accounts. Oh, right. I forgot to mention that. I'm protecting our assets during this difficult time. You can't do that. Actually, I can. They're my accounts, Kendra. You were an authorized user. The silence on the other end is deafening. I can practically hear her brain working, trying to figure out her next move. This is financial abuse, she finally says. No, financial abuse is spending $3,000 of someone else's money on a romantic getaway with your boyfriend. How did you? Bank statements, Kendra. I pay the bills, remember? I see everything. She hangs up on me. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzes with notifications. Kendra is posting a series of Instagram stories all about toxic relationships and financial control. She's playing the victim, painting me as an abusive husband who's trying to control her through money. It's a smart move, actually. Get ahead of the narrative, make me the villain before I can tell my side. Too bad I'm 3 steps ahead of her. I screenshot all her stories, then post my own response on Instagram. I don't usually use social media much. My account has maybe 200 followers, mostly family and coworkers. But sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. PSA. When someone uses your credit card to fund their affair, removing their access isn't financial abuse. It's called protecting yourself. Screenshots available upon request. It's petty, but it feels good. Within an hour, I have dozens of comments and DMs from people wanting to know more. I don't respond to any of them, but I notice Kendra's stories have been deleted. That evening, Jared comes over with pizza and beer. We sit on my couch, Baxter between us, and I fill him in on the day's activities. Dude, you're playing with fire, he says, but he's grinning. She's going to lose her mind. She already has. She called me crying for 2 hours, alternating between begging me to give her access back and threatening to sue me. What did you tell her? I told her she should probably start looking for a job. Jared nearly chokes on his beer. You didn't. I did. She's never had a real job in her life, went straight from college to marrying me to becoming an influencer. She has no idea how to function without someone else's money. My phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. This is Troy. We need to talk. I show Jared, who raises an eyebrow. The boyfriend? Apparently. You going to meet him? I consider it. Part of me wants to see this guy in person, to understand what Kendra saw in him that she couldn't find in me. But I'm not ready for that confrontation yet. I have more work to do first. Not yet, I tell Jared. Let him sweat. I don't respond to Troy's text. Instead, I spend the evening researching his business partnerships. He's got deals with 3 major supplement companies, a fitness app, and a gym chain. All of them have morality clauses, and all of them value their family-friendly image. I wonder how they'd feel about their brand ambassador breaking up a marriage. By the time Jared leaves, I have a list of contacts and a plan for tomorrow. Kendra thinks cutting off her money was the extent of my revenge. She's about to learn that I'm just getting started. I fall asleep that night with Baxter curled up next to me, feeling more peaceful than I have in months. Tomorrow, I'm going to start dismantling Troy's career, piece by piece. And after that, I'm going to finish what I started with Kendra. The wolf is patient, but it's also thorough. I wake up to 17 missed calls from Kendra and a text that simply says, "Call me now." I don't call her. Instead, I make coffee, feed Baxter, and check my email while eating breakfast. There's a message from Sarah Chen at Pure Radiance with the subject line, "Contract Termination." Kendra's been dropped. The email is professionally worded, but devastating. Pure Radiance is terminating their partnership effective immediately due to breach of contract regarding disclosure requirements and brand representation standards. They're also requesting return of all products and threatening legal action to recover payments if she doesn't comply. I forward the email to myself and add it to my growing folder of evidence. Then I check Kendra's Instagram. She posted at 6 a.m., a carefully staged photo of herself looking sad and vulnerable, with a caption about fake friends and people who don't support your growth. The comments are brutal. Her followers have clearly done some digging because they're asking pointed questions about her marriage, her relationship status, and why she's been hiding her boyfriend. Someone has even posted screenshots of her and Troy together, asking why she's been lying about being single. My phone rings. Kendra again. "You destroyed my career," she screams the moment I answer. "I didn't destroy anything. I just provided some information to interested parties. Pure Radiance dropped me. Do you know how much money that was? About $5,000 a month according to your contract, which, by the way, you violated by not disclosing your relationship with Troy." "That's not how it works." "Actually, that's exactly how it works. FTC guidelines are pretty clear about disclosure requirements. You should probably read them." She's crying now, ugly sobs that make me feel almost bad. Almost. "Evan, please. We can work this out. I made a mistake, but we can fix this." "What about Troy?" Silence. "Is it over with him?" I ask. More silence. "That's what I thought." I hang up and immediately call Troy's number. He answers on the first ring. "We need to talk," he says without preamble. I agree. "Starbucks on King Street, 1 hour." Fine. I spend the hour preparing. Not physically. Troy could probably bench press me with one hand, but mentally. I review everything I know about him, his business, his partnerships. I think about what I want to accomplish in this meeting. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm looking for leverage. Troy is already there when I arrive, sitting at a corner table with his back to the wall. He's even more impressive in person, tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of effortless confidence that comes from being genetically blessed. I can see why Kendra was attracted to him. I sit down across from him with my coffee. For a moment, we just stare at each other. "So, you're the husband," he finally says, "and you're the homewrecker." He has the grace to look uncomfortable. "Look, I didn't know she was married when we started working together. But you found out." "Yeah. And you kept seeing her anyway." "It's complicated." "It's really not. You're sleeping with someone else's wife. That's pretty straightforward." Troy leans back in his chair, studying me. "She said you were controlling, that the marriage was over." "Did she also mention that she's been using my money to pay for your dates?" His expression shifts slightly. "What?" I pull out my phone and show him the bank statements. "Montreal last month? That was our joint credit card. The dinner at Canoe? Also our card. Those expensive workout clothes she's been wearing in your content, paid for with my money. Troy's jaw tightens. I didn't know. Now you do. I lean forward, lowering my voice. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to end whatever this is with my wife. You're going to delete any content featuring her. And you're going to stay away from both of us. Or what? I smile. It's not a nice smile. Or I send your brand partners some very interesting information about your relationship with a married woman. How do you think Nutrifit would feel about their family-friendly brand ambassador breaking up a marriage? What about Flex Gear? They're very big on their wholesome image. Troy's face goes pale. You can't do that. I can and I will. Unless you disappear from our lives completely. He stares at me for a long moment, then nods slowly. Fine. But you should know. She's not going to take this well. Let me worry about my wife. As I walk home, I feel a grim satisfaction. One problem solved, one to go. But Troy was right about one thing. Kendra isn't going to take this well. I'm counting on it. That evening, the fireworks begin. Kendra shows up at our condo around 8 p.m., using her key to let herself in. I'm sitting on the couch with Baxter, watching Netflix and eating takeout Chinese food. You talked to Troy, she says. It's not a question. I did. He broke up with me. Good. She stands in the middle of our living room, looking lost and angry and desperate all at once. How could you do this to me? How could I do this to you? I set down my chopsticks and really look at her. Kendra, you've been cheating on me for months. You've been spending my money on another man. You've been lying to your followers, to your brand partners, to everyone. And you're asking how I could do this to you? I was going to tell you. When? After you moved in with him? After you cleaned out our accounts? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. She sits down heavily in the chair across from me, tears streaming down her face. I felt trapped, like I was disappearing. Everything was about your career, your friends, your life. I was just an accessory. So you decided to have an affair. I decided to find myself with someone else's dick. She flinches. Don't be crude. Don't be naive. You want to find yourself? Great. Do it as a single woman. We're getting divorced. The words hang in the air between us. This is the first time either of us has said it out loud, made it official. Evan, please. We can go to counseling. We can work through this. No, we can't, because you're still in love with him. She doesn't deny it. Pack your things, I tell her. You have until the end of the week. She leaves that night, but not before posting a series of Instagram stories about emotional abuse and manipulation. She's trying to control the narrative again, painting herself as the victim of a controlling husband. But her followers aren't buying it anymore. The comments are getting worse, people are calling her out for cheating, and she's losing followers by the hour. I don't respond to her posts. I don't need to. The truth is, speaking for itself. 3 days later, I get a call from my lawyer. Kendra wants to meet to discuss terms for the divorce. She's ready to negotiate. I'm ready too, but not for negotiation. I'm ready for the final phase of my revenge. The meeting is set for Saturday afternoon at a neutral location, a coffee shop in Yorkville that's trendy enough for Kendra to feel comfortable, but public enough to prevent any dramatic scenes. At least that's what I'm hoping. I arrive early and choose a table near the window, where the afternoon light is good for what I have planned. Kendra shows up 10 minutes late, wearing oversized sunglasses and a designer outfit that probably cost more than most people's rent. She's clearly been crying, but she's trying to maintain her influencer composure. She sits down across from me without ordering anything. Thank you for meeting me, she says, her voice carefully controlled. Let's get this over with. She flinches at my tone but pushes forward. I want to discuss the divorce terms. What's to discuss? You cheated, you lied, you spent my money on another man. I think the terms are pretty straightforward. I deserve half of everything. The condo, the savings, the investments. I almost laugh. You deserve half? Based on what? 3 years of marriage, 3 years of supporting your career. Supporting my career? Kendra, you've never had a job. You've contributed exactly nothing to our finances except spending money we don't have. I built a brand. I have followers, influence. Had. Past tense. You've lost 2 more brand deals since Pure Radiance dropped you. Your follower count is down 15%. Your influence is worth about as much as your marriage vows. She takes off her sunglasses, and I can see the dark circles under her eyes. Why are you being so cruel? I'm being honest. There's a difference. My phone buzzes. Text from Jared. Package delivered. Perfect timing. Actually, there's something I want to show you, I tell Kendra, pulling out my laptop. A little project I've been working on. I open a website I created over the past week. It's simple, clean, professional looking. The header reads, "The Truth About Kendra Pike, a case study in influencer fraud." Kendra's face goes white as she reads the title. The site contains everything. Screenshots of her lies, bank statements showing her spending, photos of her with Troy, evidence of her contract violations. But it's not just a dump of information. It's organized, professional, devastating. I've presented it like a business case, complete with timelines and financial analysis. "You can't post this," she whispers. "I already have. I sent the link to every gossip blogger in Toronto, every influencer news site, and about 50 of your closest followers. This will destroy me. You destroyed yourself. I'm just documenting it." She's shaking now, her carefully maintained composure completely gone. "Please, Evan. I'll do anything. I'll give you whatever you want in the divorce." "I don't want anything from you, Kendra. I want you to understand what it feels like to have your life dismantled by someone you trusted." My laptop chimes with a notification. Someone's shared the link on Twitter, then another share, and another. "It's going viral," I tell her, watching the numbers climb. "Congratulations, you're finally trending." She stands up abruptly, knocking over her chair. "You're sick. You're a sick, vindictive person. I'm a person who got tired of being played for a fool." She storms out of the coffee shop, leaving me alone with my laptop and my satisfaction. I watch the shares and comments pile up, people dissecting every detail of Kendra's deception. Her carefully curated image is being torn apart in real time, and there's nothing she can do to stop it. My phone rings. It's Troy. "What the hell did you do?" he demands. "I told the truth. You should try it sometime." She's having a breakdown. She called me crying, begging me to help her. And I told her I can't be seen with her right now. My agent says this scandal could eliminate my career. I almost feel bad for Kendra. Almost. But then I remember the months of lies, the stolen money, the complete disrespect for our marriage. "That's between you and her," I tell Troy. "Stay away from both of us." I hang up and close my laptop. It's done. Kendra's reputation is ruined, her career is over, and her relationship with Troy is collateral damage. She'll have to start over completely, probably in a different city where people don't know her story. As for me, I feel lighter than I have in years. The weight of pretending everything was fine, of living with someone who saw me as an obstacle to her happiness, is gone. I walk home through downtown Toronto, past all the trendy spots where Kendra used to create content, past the lounge where she met Troy, past the life we built together that turned out to be built on lies. When I get home, Baxter greets me at the door with his usual enthusiasm. I scratch behind his ears and realize that he's probably the only one who's been honest with me this whole time. "Just you and me now, buddy," I tell him. My phone buzzes one last time. A text from Kendra. "I hope you're happy." I think about it for a moment, then type back, "I'm getting there." And for the first time in months, that's actually true. 1 month later, I'm sitting in my newly reorganized condo, reading the final divorce papers. Kendra signed everything without contest. She was in no position to negotiate after the scandal destroyed what was left of her online presence. She gets nothing except her personal belongings and the debt from her credit cards. It's a Tuesday evening, and I'm celebrating with a beer and takeout pizza when Jared calls. "Dude, you need to see this," he says. "Turn on Channel 7. I flip to the local news and immediately see why he called. There's Kendra, sitting across from a sympathetic female reporter, doing what appears to be a tell-all interview. "I was trapped in an emotionally abusive marriage," she's saying, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. "When I finally found the courage to seek happiness elsewhere, my ex-husband launched a campaign of harassment and revenge that destroyed my career and my mental health." The reporter nods sympathetically. "What would you say to other women who might be experiencing similar abuse? Document everything, seek help, and don't let anyone silence your truth." I have to admire her strategy. She's trying to rebrand herself as a survivor, turning her infidelity into a story of liberation from abuse. It's actually pretty clever. Too bad I saw it coming. I pull out my phone and open the app I've been waiting to use. See, while Kendra was busy playing victim, I was busy being thorough. I recorded every conversation we had after I discovered her affair. Every phone call, every argument, every manipulation attempt. All perfectly legal in Canada, where only one party needs to consent to recording. I upload the audio files to the same website where I posted her information, along with a new blog post titled, "The Real Story, Audio Evidence of Manipulation and Lies." The recordings are damning. Kendra admitting to the affair, lying about the timeline, trying to manipulate me into giving her money, even laughing about how stupid I was for not figuring it out sooner. Within an hour, the audio clips are all over social media. To Kendra Pike is trending again, but not in the way she hoped. My phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize. "Mr. Lorne, this is Jennifer Walsh from Channel 7. We'd like to offer you a chance to respond to your ex-wife's interview." "No, thank you," I tell her. "The audio speaks for itself." And it does. By morning, Kendra's attempt at a comeback has backfired spectacularly. The news station issues an apology for not fact-checking her claims. The women's shelter that was going to partner with her backs out. Even her few remaining supporters abandon her. She calls me that afternoon, screaming and crying. "You've ruined my life," she sobs. "I can't go anywhere without people recognizing me. I can't get work. I can't even get a date." "Actions have consequences," I tell her calmly. "You should have thought about that before you decided to cheat." "I'm going to sue you for harassment." "With what money? And which lawyer is going to take a case against someone who has audio evidence of you admitting to fraud and infidelity?" She hangs up on me. That evening, I get a text from Troy. She's lost it. Showed up at my gym crying, making a scene. Security had to escort her out. Whatever you did, it worked. I don't respond. Troy made his choice when he decided to sleep with a married woman. If he's dealing with the fallout now, that's his problem. 6 months later, I'm in a much better place. The divorce is finalized, I've been promoted at work, and I'm even dating again. A nice woman named Lisa who works in marketing and has never heard of Instagram influencers. Kendra, from what I hear through mutual acquaintances, moved back in with her mother in Hamilton. She's working at a department store makeup counter, trying to rebuild her life away from social media. Troy's career survived, but barely. He lost 2 major sponsorships and had to rebrand himself completely. I don't feel bad for either of them. They made their choices, just like I made mine. The difference is, I made better choices. I'm sitting on my balcony one evening, watching the sunset over Toronto with Baxter at my feet, when I get an unexpected text. It's from Shireen, Kendra's former best friend. "Hey, I know this is weird, but I wanted to thank you." I stare at the message, confused. Shireen was one of Kendra's biggest enablers, always encouraging her worst behavior. My phone rings. It's Shireen. "I know you probably hate me. she says without preamble. But I need to tell you something. Okay. I was the one feeding you information. I nearly dropped my phone. What? The timeline of her posts, the screenshots of her DMs, even some of the financial information. I was sending it all to anonymous accounts and making sure it got to you. My mind races, trying to process this. Why? Because she was a terrible friend and an even worse person. Do you know what she said about you? She called you a safety net and a placeholder until she found someone better. She laughed about how easy it was to manipulate you. The pieces start falling into place. How I always seemed to be one step ahead of Kendra's moves. How I found information I shouldn't have been able to access. How everything lined up so perfectly for my revenge. You've been planning this for months, I realize. We've been planning this. I just gave you the tools. You did the rest. Why are you telling me this now? Because I wanted you to know that you weren't alone. And because... She pauses. Because I'm launching my own brand. Authentic lifestyle content, real relationships, honest reviews, everything Kendra pretended to be. I have to laugh. Even my revenge had an agenda I didn't know about. Are you angry? Shireen asks. I think about it. Should I be angry that I was manipulated, even if it was for my own benefit? Should I be upset that my revenge wasn't entirely my own idea? No, I finally say. I'm impressed. Good. Because I was thinking, you're really good at this strategic planning thing. If you ever want to help someone else get revenge on a cheating spouse, I know where to find the evidence. I laugh again. Thanks, but I think I'm done with revenge. It's exhausting. Fair enough. But if you change your mind... After I hang up, I sit in the gathering darkness and think about everything that's happened. Kendra's betrayal, my methodical destruction of her life, the revelation that I had help I didn't know about. In the end, it doesn't matter. Kendra got what she deserved. Troy learned that actions have consequences, and I learned that I'm stronger than I thought. The wolf has fed. Now it's time to rest. I look down at Baxter, who's been patiently waiting for his evening walk. Come on, boy, I tell him. Let's go start our new life. As we head out into the Toronto night, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Genuine peace. The game is over, the score is settled, and I won. Sometimes the good guys do finish first. They just have to be willing to play a little dirty to get there.